What's going on, Stim Junkies? Hi, Stim Ace here, and I hope you guys are starting off the week on the right note. Today, I'm going to be reviewing an infamous pre-workout, probably the most infamous pre-workout in 2025, if I'm being honest. And this one here goes all the way back to, I think, late 2017, early 2018. It's been around for a while, but high-stim Ace didn't get on the hype train until about maybe 2.5 years ago. And since then, it's pretty much been my favorite pre-workout of all time. What high-stim Ace is going to be reviewing today is the latest batch of Excelsior. Yeah, guys, the infamous, legendary Excelsior. This one comes to us from Eva Supplements right here in New York City. This is not the Predator Nutrition batch, and I've heard a lot of bad stories about that particular batch. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Predator. We're going to talk about Eva's, the sourcing, the effects in the gym, in the real world, where it matters most. I've ran this one 4 times already, and I have a lot to say. So let's not waste any more time. Let's roll that freaking intro. And when we come back, we are going to discuss Excelsior 928 in 2025. Check out this beautiful and majestic sight. 3 Excelsiors reigning supreme in the high-stim studio. We are going to begin on the left, and this here is the 726 expiration batch, which I do believe I purchased over at PredatorNutrition.com, although it was about a year ago. And as you guys could see, this here is indeed the 726 expiration. And this is considered by many to be the last hitter batch. And I can vouch for this one. It's an incredible batch. I'm going to open it in a moment, show you what the inside looks like. But the tub is more or less the same as it's been for the past 2.5 years. And this one here is indeed the smooth top lid. And the tub itself looks pretty much identical. Now, looking at the new batch that we have here that comes to us from Eva Supplements, it looks more or less the same. The ridge tub is here. Okay, so we don't have anything smooth. This is pure ridges over here. But looking at the expiration date on here, we are showing 9/28. So this is what we're working with right here. We're going to go ahead and open these 2 tubs and show you guys what the powder actually looks like on the inside. So I went ahead and opened the tub, so I'm going to show you guys what we are working with. This here is 726 on the left. Right here on the right, we got the 928, and obviously we're going to start with 726. Now, when you look at this one right off the bat, you guys are going to see a very, very familiar sight, and that side is the pink specks. Oh, check that out in its full pink glory. Lots of specks, lots of yum-yums, and this is what you expect when you're looking at Excelsior. When you're looking for Excelsior, you're expecting to see some of these specks in here, a little bit of crystallization, and you guys know that it's definitely going to provide the goods. Now, when looking at the new 928 tub, it's a little bit different. When you're going to peek all the way in and bring it down, you're going to catch yourself looking at white powder, albeit a slight pink hue if you're checking this under proper lighting. But overall, this is a white powder, not any crystals in here, definitely nothing pink in here. So people are going to see this, they're going to write it off right off the bat. But should they? Well, you guys are going to have to tune in to the rest of the review to find out. So as you guys saw, the powder was white with a little hint of pink. If you're really looking for it, you really got to squint your eyes to look for that pink. But believe me, it is there if you look hard enough. Although it definitely doesn't feel like Excelsior because you're used to having those big pink specks, the crystals and whatnot. And a lot of people theorize that the yum-yums are actually in the crystals. This is all bro science, by the way. This is all Reddit hearsay. But I'm here to tell you that I have ran the new Excelsior 4 times, and I have a lot to say about it. It is definitely different than the last version of 726, despite what Predator Nutrition says. They're always claiming that the pre-workout is exactly the same, that it's always been the same, and that it's never changed. We all know that's complete bullshit, okay? And Predator Nutrition in general doesn't have the best reputation because a lot of times they're going to release batches that have the goods, ones that I had personally, such as the 726. I heard 626 was good as well. I had the 1025. I had the 1125. Those were really good too. And obviously there was a couple in there that weren't so good, and people always have different experiences when it comes to this product. So to outright say that the formula has always been the same, it's never changed, That's complete nonsense, especially when you're charging about 120 bucks per tub, which is pretty crazy. Now, I read a lot of the stories over on the pre-workout supplement subreddit. People were saying that the new batch sucks, and 99% of these people were getting the batches from Predator Nutrition because they released it, and obviously there's a lot of hype when Excelsior comes back around, so everyone's going to rush over, pick it up, and you're really essentially throwing a Hail Mary and hoping for the best because you don't know if you're going to get a good batch or something terrible. Now, I was literally sitting on my last batch, which I am holding right here. This is the 726, which I showed you guys earlier with the smooth lid, and this one is a certified hitter. Even at 1 scoop, 1 1/4 scoop, this thing is beautiful. I absolutely love it. And a lot of people say this is the last true version of Excelsior until it got reformulated. But did it get reformulated? I don't think so. Going off the flavor, it does taste a little bit different than the previous version. Now, these both say fruit cooler, so it's supposed to be a fruit punch flavor for both of them. I'm going to tell you right now that the new version does taste a little bit different, and sometimes it has nothing to do with the actual experience, and sometimes it does. You guys know a lot of times when you pick up a pre-workout, certain flavors will hit better than others, and you guys can call it bro science, you can call it gibberish or whatever, but I do believe that there's differences when they're manufacturing different flavors. A lot of times they'll use different batches, and therefore sometimes certain ones are manufactured a little bit better, the other ones maybe are a little bit lacking, so I believe there's truth to it. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. Now, with the old one, like I said, 1 scoop, 1 1/4 was perfect. I never went more than 1.5 on the 726 because I never had to go more than 1.5. That to me was perfect. 9 grams is the perfect sweet spot. So when I got the new pre-workout, the new Excelsior, the first time I decided to run it was at 1 scoop as a nootropic. Literally just take it first thing in the morning, about 45, 50 minutes before I leave for work. And this way at 1 scoop, I know it's not going to overwhelm me, so I don't have to worry about getting hopped up at work. Excelsior never gave me crazy heart rate or crazy anxiety or anything like that. It's not one of those pre-workouts. If anything, it always gave me a good nootropic focus and really got me on top of things, made me super efficient, and just put me in a positive headspace, made me very confident, very talkative, very extroverted, and that is really what I like about Excelsior. People think that Excelsior is supposed to give you like this crazy high or this crazy energy. Not the case. To me, it's all about the mindset. It just puts you in this positive mindset where you believe in yourself and you kind of become the very best version of yourself. I am super productive when I'm on Excelsior. When I take that scoop, 1/4, 1.5, not only will I have an amazing workout because I'm going to be in an epic, amazing headspace and just feel like the limitless version of myself, but then it's gonna carry on to the rest of the day, and I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna clean, I'm gonna organize, I'm gonna do things to actually be productive as opposed to just sitting down and chilling and gaming or watching TV or whatever. And that to me is what makes Excelsior a very special type of experience. It really makes you feel like the very best version of yourself, not necessarily by giving you a crazy high or getting you energized or hopped up. This ain't no crack. This is something very unique, and there is a secret sauce type of ingredient. So I'm not even going to read this label because this label here is complete bullshit. You can wrap this up, you can fold it, and toss it aside. This label means absolutely nothing. Believe me, guys, the Kiglena africana is not what's giving you this good feeling, okay? There's something in here, and people have speculated that the secret sauce ingredient may be changed over the years because from what I understand, the 2018 and 2019 and even 2020 versions of Excelsior were way stronger than the stuff that started coming out in like 22, 23. So maybe they did use something different. I wasn't around for that time, so I don't know. I can only go based off of my experience. The very first batch I ran was 1025 and 1125. So anything prior to that, high-stim Ace has no experience on. Like I said, I was very late to the Excelsior party, but now that I'm on the train, I'm the freaking conductor because I am the certified authority when it comes to Excelsior. So taking this at 1 scoop is actually an amazing experience, but not in the way you would expect. I ran this twice at 1 scoop. Once was as a nootropic taken for work. Essentially, I replaced Thermal Spark and took Excelsior. And to me, Thermal Spark was actually an interesting experience, and I did review the latest batch. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to link that video down below. I'm going to pin the comment. You can check it out. But to me, Thermal Spark was always something I could take as a nootropic, maybe once or twice a week, usually on Mondays and Fridays, where I know I have a lot to do and I really want to be on top of my game, but also have like a bit of a background buzz and just feel positive and have a good outlook on life. So to me, Thermal Spark is something I would always take Monday and Friday, or sometimes just on a Monday or whatever. But instead of running the Thermal Spark, I decided, let me take a scoop of this, flat scoop, 6 grams on its own with nothing, and let me see what happens. Now, the experience is really good. I personally believe that whatever ingredient secret sauce was in the previous couple of versions of Excelsior, I believe this one still has the goods. Now, I am strictly talking about the Eva supplements version. I believe that these are two products that are manufactured differently. I think Predator has their own source for Excelsior, and I think Eva supplements has their own source. I could be completely wrong. I could be talking out of my rear end and not know what the hell I'm talking about. But based on my feeling, I think that these are two differently manufactured batches, considering everyone's been talking smack about the Predator Nutrition batch that just dropped. And it seems like more people than not are saying that the Eva supplements batches are better. And Eva's in general goes back, they've been doing this since the late 90s. And in the early and mid 2000s, they made a lot of connections with a lot of manufacturers that were just starting out, such as Innova Farm, Driven Sports, and obviously also Imperial Nutrition. So I don't understand the structure. I don't know the mechanics, the business, the manufacturers. I don't know any of that stuff. I'm not privy to any of that information, but I do believe that they still have some sort of leftover connection from those old days that is getting the Excelsior pre-workouts to them independently of what Predator Nutrition's doing. And again, guys, I could be completely wrong about this, but that's what I believe because the Eva's version is very solid. I had somebody message me on Instagram and actually encourage me to pick up a tub on Eva's, and I hit up my boy Constantine from Eva Supplements. Shouts out to the main man, Constantine, and he actually did confirm the batch. He sent me a picture, and he showed me the back of the tub, and I got a sick Black Friday deal. I snagged up 2 tubs for $85 a pop. So for me, at $85, it was definitely worth taking the risk, and I told myself, even if this thing hits at 50% as good as the previous one, for $85, it's worth it. Would I pay $120 for it? Probably not. But the experience is a little bit different than the previous version. It's still good. I'm going to tell you right now, it definitely still feels like Excelsior, albeit a watered down version of the previous batch. So if I would take 726 at 1 scoop, then I would want to take this one here at 1.5 or maybe 1 3/4. And I know that sounds excessive, and when you do it that way, you're going to go through the servings a lot faster. But to me, I don't mind doing that because Excelsior is something I take no more than twice a month anyway. I really want to take it on a high-stim Saturday where I know I'm going to be in the gym for like 2.5, 3 hours, hit a lot of training, and then maybe hit the sauna afterwards, do some cardio. And I know I'm going to be there for a while, so I don't mind even taking 2 scoops if I have to, bringing the servings down to 15 because this isn't something I'm going to be running once or twice a week. I'm running this once or twice a month. So even at 2 scoops, which by the way, I don't think you need to run it at 2 scoops, but even if that were the case, it's still worth it at $85 for me anyway. Now, the feeling I got when I ran this as a nootropic, very similar to the previous version. It's going to take it about 45 minutes to an hour to start hitting. This one is very delayed. A lot of people are going to take the drink, whether it's at 1 scoop, 1.5 scoops. They're not going to feel anything for 20, 30 minutes, and they're going to say it's bunk, it's bullshit, this product sucks, they nerfed it, whatever. You guys got to wait. You have to give it, I'm telling you, even close to an hour. This is a builder. It builds very slowly. It's not going to smack you out of nowhere, but it is going to build gradually. And you're going to start feeling that build up at the 40-minute mark, but it's going to build and build. Now, this is a very mental type of experience. You're going to get a bit of a head high on this one, not like a crazy DMHA 2 amino buzz. It's its own kind of ingredient. It's a head high that comes together with a very focused and driven nootropic feeling, really just making you want to do stuff, not by giving you crazy gratuitous amounts of energy and pushing you to do stuff, but just putting you in this mindset, like almost like a creative mindset where you just want to do stuff. And this is why I say I can take this as a nootropic at 1 scoop once a week, and I don't mind doing that because if I know I have a long work day and I have a lot of stuff I got to do, paperwork, whatever, where I need to be focused and dialed in and efficient, man, this is great. I ran this at 1 scoop, and it was an incredible experience. It took it about an hour to build. I didn't drink any other coffee. I didn't stack any more caffeine. Obviously, no alpha-yo, nothing like that. I took it strictly as a nootropic. And the only form of exercise I did prior to getting to work was just my bike ride to work, which is about a 20-25 minute bike ride. And this thing really started kicking in. It's in the background. It's mellow, but it is definitely present. And it's going to just kind of drive you to really be the very best, most optimal version of yourself. And I freaking like it. It's like an 8 to 10 hour experience. Not really a crash with it, maybe like a little come down and you're going to go back to baseline. But this is really a full day type of experience. Very mental, very productive, and very clean. There's no anxiety, no jitters, no shortness of breath, nothing like that. maybe a bit of the shrinkage down there, maybe a little bit of stimmy willy action. Not the worst I ever had, maybe like a 6, 6.5 out of 10, but definitely an amazing experience at one scoop as a nootropic. Now, obviously, most people watching this video are interested in how Excelsior actually hits in the gym and not as a nootropic, because I'm sure you guys have your own stacks and your own stashes of mushrooms and God knows what else to use as nootropics. But you guys want to know, how the hell can I get that epic Excelsior training session? So I'm going to tell you. I ran this at one scoop mixed with an Alpha Yo capsule, and that was a very, very nice experience. And I think that really balances things out. Usually, I don't like stacking stuff with Excelsior because I don't like taking away from that feeling of Excelsior. But in this case, I think it really works because this is slightly weaker than the previous 726 version. So if you guys do want to get your full 30 servings and you guys want to conserve a little bit on the scoops and make it last for a while, then you can definitely get away with a flat scoop, which comes in at 6 grams, and stack it with either a yohimbine capsule or an Alpha Yo capsule, or better yet, double yohimbine from Dark Labs, because then you're getting 9 milligrams of yohimbine and 1 milligram of Alpha Yo. And I know it sounds like a lot, but it's actually not. It's perfectly balanced, and I think it works beautifully with Excelsior. You could take 1 scoop of that Excelsior, 1 capsule of the Alpha Yo, and add a light pump formula to it. Don't go too crazy with the pumps because this is already a watered down version of the previous Excelsior, so you don't want to take any crazy pumps with a crap ton of nitrates, 10 grams of citrulline. Avoid all those heavy pump products. Or you can just stack like 5 grams of citrulline, maybe a little bit of glycerol, and you don't have to overthink it. I know you guys are pump fiends. Everybody wants to look juicy and swollen in the gym, but when you're taking Excelsior, you're taking Excelsior. You don't want to detract from the experience. So 1 flat scoop, 1 Alpha Yo capsule, and a very light pump formula, and you guys are going to have a great time. That is obviously if you guys are looking to get the full 30 servings. Now, if you guys are a little bit more generous, such as high-stim Ace is, you guys can go for a scoop and a half, and that's going to make the experience a whole lot better. Now, what I like to do personally, and this is just something that I've done for a while, and it seems to work really, really well for me, I'm going to take 1 flat scoop on its own about 45 minutes before I even get to the gym, right? So I'm still at home, I'm still prepping my stuff, my change of clothes, my backpack, and I'm getting everything ready. I'm going to take the flat scoop on its own with water, going to shoot it down about 45 minutes before I even get to the gym, because you're going to give this thing time to build up to really get you into that headspace. And then what you're going to do afterwards is take another half a scoop, right? So another 3 grams. You're going to mix it with your favorite pump formula. Again, nothing too heavy, nothing too nuts. Try to cap it at like 5, 6 grams of citrulline, not more than that. And you're going to add it to that 3 grams of Excelsior. So you're bringing up your Excelsior to 9 grams total. And when you're on the way to the gym, so meaning maybe 5-10 minutes out from actually starting to train, you're going to drink that pump formula with that extra dose of Excelsior in there. And at that point, you're going to be in about an hour after taking the initial drink, and you are going to be off to the races, man. That is the best way to run it in my experience, because you're giving it time to build in your system, and then you're taking like another hit with that pump formula, which helps with the blood flow and kind of gets it into your system faster. Again, guys, this is all bro science, and this is all based on high-stim Ace's personal experience, but I find that running it this way works really well. And if you guys really are freaking crazy and you don't mind double scooping it to really get hopped up for the entire day, then by all means, take the 1 scoop 45 minutes before training, and then go ahead and take a pump formula with a 2nd scoop to really get you on a different stratosphere. And yes, I've done it, and I absolutely loved it. Now, one thing I did notice about this specific batch of Excelsior is that the appetite suppression isn't quite as apparent. So with the older versions, for whatever reason, whether it made me just not think about food at all, or whether I was just enjoying the day and being super productive that I didn't even care to think about food, it didn't matter. The point was that it definitely curbed my appetite, even more so than Thermal Spark, which is funny because Thermal Spark is supposed to be the fat burner that curbs your appetite and keeps everything under control. Meanwhile, Excelsior is supposed to be the pre-workout. In my experience, it was quite different. Thermal Spark just put me in a very good nootropic headspace, while Excelsior was the product that always killed my appetite. Now, with this latest batch, there is still a bit of an appetite suppression, so you're not going to be super hungry. You can definitely get away with eating less throughout the day, but there were still points during the day where I was hungry and I was thinking about food a little bit, so I would say the appetite suppression is not quite as strong. And again, I do believe the reason for that is because whatever secret sauce ingredient they got cooking up in here, it's about 60, 65, maybe 70% as strong as that previous batch. So I think the appetite suppression comes from that specific ingredient. And because the version in here is lessened or it's watered down, it doesn't have the appetite suppression quite as much. So the final verdict, is Excelsior 928 still worth it in 2025? I think it is worth it. I think this is still a very solid product, and even though this thing is about maybe 60-65% as strong as the previous version, it's still better than a lot of pre-workouts in 2025, okay? And that should tell you everything you need to know. Because this one's special. To me, Excelsior has always been very special, and I know there's certain people that took it and expected it to give them like this crazy energy and give them like a crazy cybernetic high, but this isn't what this is about. This makes you limitless. This makes you the very best version of yourself. It makes you confident, it makes you extroverted, and it makes you super focused, dialed in, productive, and just master whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And that's why, to me, Excelsior will always be one of my favorite pre-workouts of all time. Now, once again, I'd like to remind you all that I picked this version of Excelsior up from evasupplements.com. I did not get this from Predator Nutrition. I know there's a lot of negative reviews for that version that comes from the UK. I know nothing about it, okay? So don't be hitting me up and telling me that your version of Excelsior is garbage when you picked it up from Predator Nutrition. I can only vouch for this version right here, 928 expiration from evasupplements.com. As of the time of this recording, I don't even know if it's in stock or not. I'm going to check. If it is in stock, I'm going to link the link down below. I'm going to link the link regardless, and you guys can keep a lookout because a lot of times they're out of stock, and then they're going to restock. They're going to get like 15, 20 at a time. They usually get small batches at a time, and they sell out very, very quickly. So you guys know you can always follow me on Instagram at high-stim Ace. Anytime a product comes back, and even if it's a limited edition run or whatever, and it's available briefly, you best believe high-stim Ace has your back. I'm always going to link it in the stories and let you guys know where to pick up all the hitters from. So follow me on Instagram, and guys, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, hit the little bell notification to get all of high-stim Ace's latest updates. Check out my podcast that I'm hosting with Alexander Hammerstone, the high-stim Experience. I'm going to link it down below. We just did episode 2 yesterday and absolutely crushed it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, subscribe, like, share, all that other fun stuff, and I will see you all next time for the next high-stim pre-workout review. Take care, everybody. High-stim Ace, signing off.